Man, guys, I gotta be real. This episode of Shield Hero was kind of all over the place today. As much as I don't want to admit that, it really was. We jumped around so much. Like, this season, I'll say, I still like Shield Hero, but this season, it's like, we went from like a light jog trying to get through stuff, and now it feels like we're just going in like a full sprint. Oh, it's a little rough, but I still enjoyed this episode. So welcome back to the channel, guys. We're here to talk about Shield Hero episode 10 today. And I'd argue we still had a pretty eventful episode, but we're really sprinting through stuff, guys. We jumped all over the place, but let's get into it so I can kind of dissect that a little bit with you guys. So our episode begins with Raphtalias. As I said, as the last one ended, with Raphtalias getting brought to this prison and thrown into a cell, as she's reminiscing her time being a slave in the past. And it is sad, guys, because, when we started this series, we found her as a slave, and I don't even want to think about all the terrible things she probably went through in that time. Just the abuse and all this. It's not great. So as she's reminiscing about that getting thrown into the cell, she actually realizes that her cellmates are Lilark and his party, which is crazy. Like, what a coincidence, huh? But anyway, they quickly deduce that it's Raphtalias, and they're shocked about it, obviously, because they didn't expect her to follow them into this world. So they actually start talking, and they actually just start talking because they realize if she's there, then Naofumi and the gang's there. So they decide to share what information they have with each other. And Raphtalias reveals all this information about Kizuna, the prison they were in, and they're shocked. Glass is visibly, like, shaken about the fact that Kizuna was in the prison, but unbelievably grateful that they got them out. And she vows to help Raphtalias get out of the prison as well. And as they're there, Lilark and his gang explain to Raphtalias that they are in the prison of exhaustion. That every time you try to use your power in this prison, it actually gets sucked away. And the guards who hold special talisman actually get stronger because of it. So the more you fight to try to get out, actually, the weaker you become and the stronger they become. And Glass, being a spirit person, is especially weak against this because it drains her very life source. So she's virtually no help at all in this instance. But Raphtalias has a plan, We got to get out somehow. So she devises a plan to hide them with illusion magic to make the guard think that they escaped. So this dummy, this actual dummy busts into the cell saying, "Oh, where'd they go? Where'd they go?" And when he does, Raphtalias steals the talisman on him and gives it to Glass, which, as I said, just completely makes you stronger. So for a spirit person, her strength goes off the charts, and they break out that way. And I gotta say, guys, this prison was not very tense at all. Like, we got introduced to it, and about 2 minutes later, we're out of it. Like, oh man. Like I said, we're speeding on through. So they escape, and they start going through town, They try to devise a plan of what they need to do. Their goal is to get to the Dragon Hourglass in the capital so they can reconverge with Naofumi and his gang. And along the way, they decide, hey, Raphtalias, we need to get you some levels while we're going, because you're kind of weak right now. We got to get you a little bit stronger. So we get another montage. Yet another montage this season. Like, we haven't gotten enough of those. Of them training. And Raphtalias getting stronger, She's even starting to grow again, as we saw. She's about halfway to where she was at this point. And because of that, they have to buy her new weapons and clothing and all that. And her and the Lark's group start bonding a bit doing that. She has a conversation with Glass around the middle of our episode this week. And, they're starting to bond a little bit. She's very grateful that they rescued Kizuna. And Raphtalias is grateful that they're helping her to find Naofumi. So they're bonding a bit. And I can't see Glass and all them being villains, honestly, guys, much longer after this. Like, maybe we gotta fight them again, but I'd argue it's gonna be far more conflicted this time. I don't know, man. They just don't seem like villains anymore to me. But the next day after that, we see that the vassal weapon of the katana, that they're choosing the person who will wield the katana vassal weapon the next day. And Lalark and his group are kind of worried about that, you know? They're like, oh, that's the last thing we need right now. But as a fellow vassal weapon hero, he decides, I need to check this person out. I need to see what he's like with my own eyes. And it's revealed that the candidate they've chosen to wield the vassal weapon is actually Kazuki, the man who was helping Kyo in our previous episodes, the one who helped Raphtalias be taken away from the gang. And obviously, she don't like that. But he goes there and tries to pull out the sword. And now, the guards themselves explained that the vassal weapons choose their owners, They don't get chosen, they choose their own owners. And anyone they don't deem as worthy cannot claim the weapons. So as Kazuki is trying to pull the weapon out, the weapon actually starts glowing and teleports, but then it teleports to Raphtalias' hand. And I gotta be honest, guys, I'm gonna keep it a buck. That felt so obvious to me. That was like the most obvious thing that was gonna happen. The second that Lalark even mentioned the katana weapon, I thought to myself, like, oh, I wonder who in this group uses swords, It was so obvious that was gonna happen, guys. I'm sorry. But yes, Raphtalias is now a vassal weapon holder for the katana. And that is why her slave crest went away and Naofumi cannot sense her stats anymore. Because apparently heroes cannot be slaves in any way, shape, or form. So the second she held the weapon, it dissolved her crest. So in that moment, it's a good thing, but Kazuki is furious and he sicks the guards on them. Like, she stole my weapon, even though we just explained that the weapon chooses the other person. But anyway, whatever. So Lalark and all them try to get away, but Raphtalias decides that, no, I'm going to separate from you guys. You guys aren't involved in this. So she runs off on her own as the guards chase her throughout the city. Now, apparently, they didn't really explain this, frankly, but from my guess, apparently the weapon was supplying her with power because as she was running, she kept growing, She kept growing back in size, and at this point, she's the size she was before she shrank again. And like I said, we're sprinting, guys. We're sprinting through the content. So as she's running from the guard, she actually makes it to a shrine where a shrine maiden's there who just so happens to be the shrine maiden for the katana wielder who has helped the katana vassal weapon hero for generations. Her family has. So she gives Raphtalias a new look and just kind of pumps her up a bit, saying how you are a hero after all, so and you gotta do what you gotta do. So with her new priestess look and her newfound determination, she exits the shrine to meet Kazuki and a bunch of guards. And he immediately attacks her, as he would, because he's a douchebag. And we get to see Raphtalias on full display with her new weapon. And she kicks ass, as you would expect. No brainer. She easily takes him out. He actually has replications of divine beasts from this world, the Byaiko, which is the snow lion, the ice lion, or ice tiger, I should say. And she easily cuts them down, too. And makes quick work of everyone. Apparently, her weapon can control snow, which I found very interesting. I think that's quite cool. And I think it actually fits. See what I did there? Cool. And I think it actually fits Raphtalia's personality very well, that her weapon would control snow and or ice. And she gets away from all them. But as she's leaving the temple, a giant version of this Byaiko actually attacks her, and drained of her power from beating all the other ones in Kazuki earlier, she feels like this is the end. Like, oh my lord, I'm gonna die right here. Only to be saved by Naofumi and the gang, who take out this Byaiko and get reunited with Raphtalias. We get a nice little scene of her and Naofumi embracing. And I gotta be real, guys, like, what the fuck? This episode really made the last episode feel kind of silly, honestly. That Naofumi and all of them were so worried to go and save her, and she saved herself. It was literally like a Harley Quinn moment in the new Suicide Squad, like, where Naofumi's like, we came to save you! And then she's like, oh, I mean, I saved myself, but I can go back in if you want me to. Yeah. It's like, okay. And like I said, guys, I gotta keep it a buck. I like Shield Hero Season 2, but it's all over the place. Here's how I feel about it. Here's my thoughts. It's like, I can see the skeleton of what they're trying to do. I can see the skeleton of the story here. And it just feels like they're ripping stuff out to try to get us farther along quicker. Because I recently have looked up how many light novels are in this series, and there's so much, guys. We've literally barely scratched the surface of the content that we have, so I can tell they're really trying to get us along. And I see the skeleton of the story that they're trying to do here. And it just really makes me want to read the light novels at this point. Like, I legitimately think I will for this series, because I like the story. I like the plot. But it's just they've gouged out so much. So much, like, stuff that needs to be filled in. It's just not here, you know? And I just don't know how I feel about that. Like, I love Shield Hero, but Season 2 has really been all over the place. I can't deny that. But with the gang all back together, their goal is now just to avenge Ost and to stop Kyo and get the Spirit Tortoise's energy back to their world. That is our goal. I imagine we'll spend the next 2 episodes doing that. And just, I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Like I said, pretty rushed. But overall, a good episode. How do you feel about Raphtalia being a Vassal weapon hero now? I'm curious, actually, before we end the video, I'm curious, like, how's that gonna work when they go back to their own worlds, you know? Are they gonna screw this world over by taking this world's Vassal weapon and bringing it to the other world? How's that gonna work, you know? That I'm kind of curious about, and I hope they explain that. I feel like they're gonna screw this world over. Like, yeah, we're just gonna take one of your most prized weapons and just head back to our world now. No problem, right? But like I said, you guys let me know what you thought down below. And that'll be it for today's episode, guys, you know? Shield Hero, it's something. But I hope you guys have a great day, week, month, and year. And until next time, deuces, and have a blessed day.